सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. Can you tell us the profound meaning of the shloka?
So suddenly from dance you go to Sharanagati. That is the final. That should be the final question. Yes, Radha, you're right. That should be the final question because after Sharanagati there is nothing. This is the shloka which emphasizes complete surrender. Sarva dharman parityajya, and during these pandemic times, that is what we really need to do.
Namaste and a very warm welcome to all the viewers. We have an amazing guest, a renowned and a much celebrated Harikatha exponent, Srimati Vishakha Hari, with us. This interview is hosted by the Himalayan School of Traditional Dance, a global initiative founded by Brahmarishi Mohanji, a world-renowned spiritual leader to spread the core values, tradition, and culture of Bharat through dance across the world. Our distinguished guest for today, Srimati Vishakha Hari, needs no introduction in the field of fine arts. She is a famous Carnatic musician and a Harikatha proponent. She learned Carnatic music under the legendary Carnatic violinist Padma Vibhushan Sri Lalgudi Jayaraman, while her spiritual guru and father-in-law is Sri Krishna Premi Anna. Vishakha Hari's performances are most sought after in and around India. She is also a rank holder, a chartered accountant, and later has embraced wholeheartedly the path of devotion. Hearty welcome, Vishakha Akka.
Radhe Krishna.
Radhe Krishna. We also have with us Mohanji Acharya, Srimati Satya Shivakumar, Global Member HSTD, who will be conducting the interview along with me.
Namaste. A very warm welcome to all our dear viewers and our esteemed guest for today, Srimati Vishakha Hari. With humble pranams at the lotus feet of my Guru, Brahmarishi Mohanji, we now start our interview with Srimati Vishakha Hari. Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Krishna was spontaneous. He was a complete avatar, a person who can be identified in every level of existence, says Mohanji. Harikatha and traditional dance forms of Bharat are connected by purpose of giving the experience of the divine. Woven together by threads of devotion, divine love and grace, both Harikatha and traditional dance can help one to get a flavor of the divine. Can you share with us how Harikatha serves as a great medium to soak in the divine?
Wonderful question. So, first of all, a very good initiative by the Himalayan School of Dance, where the two beautiful girls sitting online virtually there, so Radha and Satya. So that's a good initiative by your guru, Himalayan School of Dance, to bring dance to the global scenario. As you said rightly, not only Harikatha or music or dance, I personally believe every Indian art form, for that matter, any art universally, is a medium for us to connect with the divine, with the abstract. It's a language which the deaf and the dumb can speak and hear and understand. So it crosses all barriers. So it is something that you and your personal Lord interact. It's a prayer. Some people pray by means of words. So you have prayers as shlokas or as songs and verses. For us, art is a prayer. So whether it is a concert or dance or Harikatha, it is a divine communion with the Lord. And that is why These art forms have been considered as Upasana Margams by Tyagaraja Swami, Purandaradasa, sage Narada himself. So why should a sage give up tapas, give up yoga, yaga, all rituals, vratams, and take up to Harikatha, performing the story of the Lord with his veena, wandering around the three worlds? So he says, Murchayitva Harikatam Gayamanaha Charamyaham. I will sing the Harikathas of the Lord, Murchayitva, with the Murchana Sthanas. Charamyaham, I will wander through all the worlds, praising the Lord and reciting his stories along with the accompaniment of my veena. So why does a sage have to do it? So doesn't that ensure us that it is totally connected to the divine? And he says, Narada says, in my previous birth, when I was the son of a maid servant, he was the son of a maid servant. வீடு கூட்டி பெருக்கிறவருடைய அந்த வீடு கூட்டி பெருக்கிறவளுடைய புள்ள. When I was the son of a maid servant, during the Chaturmasya, the saints taught me how to do tapas and dhyana. The Lord did not give his darshan wholeheartedly. In this avatara, even before I can call him, he stands before me. And the Lord himself takes pleasure in saying that, Tatra Tishtami Narada, Naham Vasami Vaikunte, Na Yogi Hridaye, Ravau, Madbhaktaha, Yatra Gayanti, Tatra Tishtami. So where my devotees sing with devotion, Narada, I stand there. Not really, it doesn't say, I show my presence there. He says, I stand there. So doesn't all these phrases, all these sentences, they are all not exaggerations or false promises by the Almighty Lord. So whether it is dance, any art form, music, Harikatha, even a street art, Terukutta irunda kuda, the Ramayana Mahabharatam, when you do it from the heart, when you do an art from the heart, it straight touches the chords of the heartstrings. So it is a divine communion.
Very, very beautiful. It is a divine experience indeed. That oneness, how it gives it that oneness feeling with the divine. Especially, like you said, it can be any art form. But when we immerse ourselves into that totally, then it takes us to a different realm. It's a totally different experience. So beautiful, beautiful. We have enjoyed listening to the discourses right from the childhood, right from the time Sri Krishna Premi Anna. We used to rush to the concert hall and make ourselves, reserve some places in the front. So after that, we enjoyed listening to your discourse also. So beautiful, Radha.
Akka, I'm really touched by your heart-melting elucidation, so full of bhav. It just took us to a world of Krishna Rasa. So coming to the next question, as we all know, dance and Krishna are inseparable. The myriad pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna has inspired generations and continue to do so. No dance performance is complete without the portrayal of Krishna. Can you tell us about the dance of Krishna, the one on Kalinga, the serpent, and the Ras Leela?
Sure. So that was again a beautiful question. Krishna and dance, both are inseparable totally, because Krishna is such a multifaceted personality. Versatile, the most versatile person, you can call it Krishna, because he takes the flute, he plays on it. He does the Gita Pravachan in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. If you want him to fight a war, he does it. He chops off the head of Shishupala. He goes as an ambassador, as a Duta. So one who really can come down to that level, going as an ambassador for a king, without actually seeing the dignity of your real true personality. That kind of a person, he might not be as efficient or as valorous as a Chakravarti. But here is a combination where Krishna can fight wars, he can win wars, he can go to the extreme of grazing cows and doing anything for the sake of Arjuna and Yudhishthira, going as ambassadors and bathing their horses. Or suddenly he does the Rasa Leela, he suddenly dances on a snake. You can never expect something from Krishna. You can expect the unexpected from Krishna. To put it truly, he always gives a twist in the tale. So anything that he does is, oh yes, this is absolutely unexpected. So when there is something called a 100-headed serpent coming out from the Yamuna, usually what one would expect is, yes, there is this Lord in the form of a 6-year-old boy or a 5-year-old infant child. So this boy should go up. Either he should get scared of Kaliya, and for that matter, it is Kaliya Nartana. Kalinga is the Kalinga Raja, the dynasty. So maybe it is Marivi, Kaliyan Marivi. That is, by hearsay, it has become Kali, has become Kalinga Nartana, but it is Kaliya Nartana. So that is what Bhagavat says. The Srimad Bhagavat or Vishnu Purana, which is the Pramanika Grantha, tells that it is Kaliya. So usually you would expect a child to get scared, or if it is the Lord, he would kill Kaliya or tame Kaliya. But here you cannot expect truly anything out of Krishna, expect the unexpected. Suddenly he goes up on Kaliya and starts dancing. And he makes that whole horrible, disastrous incident into a beautiful, poetic version, a dance version, something which is horrible and very terrorizing. He transforms that incident into a graceful poise, full of poise and beauty, aesthetic sense. Entire scene changes. He goes up on the hoods of Kaliya and starts dancing. And that dance becomes Adbhuta Chitra Natya. It becomes an Adbhuta Natya Chitra Tandava. That Chitra Tandava. So the way he dances, tatum tatam tateti, the way he dances has inspired so many songs from Utukadu Venkatakavi, from Mirabai, from Surdas, from all the composers all around the world. And that is why we have Takkeda Tadimeta Dereta Janutam. Sanida Mama Garita Takkeda Tadimeta Dereta Janutam. So many jatis and phrases. Just imagine some incident which should have really created fear in the hearts of Krishna's devotees brings joy and ananda, and which includes the art form also. Similarly in the Rasa Leela.
Adaram madhuram Vadanam madhuram Nayanam madhuram Hasitam madhuram Hridayam madhuram Gamanam madhuram Mathuraadhipaterakhilam madhuram.
everything, even in fact, Govardhana Leela also, my guru, Shri Anna says, Nrityate Giridhari, He Sakhi, Nrityate Giridhari, He Sakhi, Nrityate Giridhari. Giridhari holding the mountain in his little finger, on his little finger. On his little finger, he holds the Govardhan mountain. Oh, would it have pained them or would it have really caused so much burden? Here he says, no, he was dancing. Holding the Govardhan hill on his little finger, he was dancing. So everything becomes dance for him. Whole life is dance. And that is why Purandaradasar says, Jagadodharana Adisidala Shode. Yashoda had the bhagyam to make Krishna dance to the tunes of Yashoda. To make that Krishna who makes all of us dance to his tunes, she made Krishna dance to her tunes. So everything is dance for Krishna. Everything is art for Krishna. Even the Asura Samhara becomes an art form. So it is the way we perceive the whole life. You can see it seriously, or you can view it as a beautiful piece of art, as a beautiful painting, as a beautiful whole. Your life can be dance. Your life, you can dance through your life, and you can convert your life into a picture, beautiful picture of dance. That is what Rasa Leela also. One Krishna, one Gopi, one Krishna, one Gopi. What does that show? He makes us dance, actually. Each one of us have a Krishna. We all have a Krishna. Individual personal Krishna with whom we can dance, with whom we can hold hands. He makes us dance. Velileyum aada vekkira, ulleyum aada vekkira, illaya? So outside and inside. So that is Rasa Leela. He is here, Antaryami. He makes us dance. Every day is Rasa Leela for us. Every day is Ras. If we can really feel the Krishna inside us, we are doing the Ras every day. You're Radha, right? So you're asking questions related to Krishna's Rasa, Krishna Rasa. So that is also a beautiful question.
Very, very beautiful answer to Akka. Just so beautiful.
Yeah, that was so beautiful. How, our life itself is dance, and Krishna is making us dance inside and outside. That is so beautiful. And how, even while holding the Govardhana hill, he is dancing. That is something really beautiful. It's something that we have not heard. We have heard about the Kaliya Nardanam. We have heard about Rasa Leela, but even while holding the Giri, he is dancing. That is simply beautiful.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Everything is just a antic. You call it the transcendental divine pastime. Yeah, pastime.
Pastime of Krishna. Words cannot sum up that feeling or that experience.
That's why they call it Leela. Simply, you cannot just translate it into English or any other word. It's Leela. It's a divine sport. Letting it off.
Yes, simply beautiful. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam enlightens us on the 24 Gurus. Can you share your understanding and insights as to how anyone in the spiritual path should always remain alert to be ever guided by the divine, which can come in any form or manner and wake us up from deep slumber?
Yeah, that's a beautiful question again. The concept of Guru, Krishna again, as a Guru himself, Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum is what we generally say. Why do we call Krishna as the Jagat Guru? Because in the Ekadasha Skanda of Srimad Bhagavata, as you rightly said, Krishna gives the concept of universal Gurus, where the whole world can become your Guru. Every incident can become our Guru. If we are sensitive enough, we can learn each and every second from each and every person, from each and everything that happens in our life, both positive and negative. And that is why he tells Uddhava. This is the Uddhava Gita. Like the Bhagavad Gita, it is called the Uddhava Gita. where Krishna says, Uddhava, look around you. That is how our ancestors learnt everything. Our ancestor Yadu. That is why Krishna is called the Yadavan, Yadava Kula. Yadu Maharaja learnt it from Dattatreya. That Prithvi, the earth, is our guru. Because see how patient she is. Prithvi, the earth, is the embodiment of patience. If she starts cracking every day and there are earthquakes every day at every place, just imagine how can we live on earth? Vayu, the air that blows, is our guru. Every minute, the air, it goes deep into our nostrils, it goes into the lungs, it fills up the heart, all through the body, the air goes, but comes out as pure as it went inside the body. So learn to move with people like the Vayu, like Vayu Bhagavan. You really be very affectionate with them, but don't stick on to them. Don't stick too much that you will get polluted by their gunas or doshas. You should not get attached to their guna dosha. Be like Vayu. Prithvi, Vayu, Akasham, Apo, Agnis, Chandrama, Ravihi. Akasham. See, look at the Akasha, look at the ether, look at the space above. So independent, the Akasha, the sky is so independent. It gives place for all the planets, the moon, the sun, the stars, millions of it. Everything depends on space, but the space does not depend, Akasha does not depend on anything else at all. Try to be independent like the Akasha. Says, try to be as tasty, as fulfilling as the water. Apo, Apaha is water, free flowing. It quenches the thirst of everybody. It is the most useful, precious resource material in the whole world. So you become a resource yourself. You don't keep asking what they can do for me, what she can do for me, what he can do for me. What can you do for others? So that way he talks of 24 gurus. Krishna could have easily said, I am the guru, Uddhava, I am the guru, fall at my feet. But he doesn't do that. He says, Uddhava, I can show you the gurus our ancestors worshipped. What is it? Prithvi, Vayu, Akasham, Apo, Agni, fire. How can the fire be a guru? Because it takes the essence from all the objects. And all that is kachana, all that is not needed, it just burns it away. The essence alone, it keeps taking. The moon, Chandrama, Ravihi, the sun's rays fall everywhere. It doesn't have the distinction that these people belong to that caste and these people belong to this caste. Irrespective of caste and creed and gender and religion, sun and the moon belong to the whole universe. You should belong to the whole universe. Never get narrow-minded and say that I belong only to this community, to this particular sect, this particular creed, this particular caste. You belong to everybody. You should become a universal treasure. You can respect your own traditions and customs. That is something different. Don't enforce your opinions or beliefs, or don't force anybody. Don't force your thoughts on others. Try to respect everybody. So your wealth of information or the treasure that you have, your asset, should be donated and given like the sun's rays. The sun does not actually expect anything in return from us. Everybody, the doctors nowadays, they say everybody needs vitamin D. Go and take a walk in the morning hours and the evening hours. So that is the best medicine. Arogyam Bhaskarat Ichches. If you want best health, you derive it from the sun's rays, the morning and the evening rays. So that amount of energy and resource, it expects nothing in return. So karmanyeva adhikaraste. So he goes on and on and on and on. That if I start explaining the 24 gurus, that is going to take a 2-hour lecture or a 4-hour lecture. But this way, he opens our eyes for us to feel and realize that we have gurus all around us. Every second, So you cannot say, I didn't have a guru, I didn't have anybody to teach me. The spider can become your guru. That is how Chhatrapati Shivaji Raja Maharaja fought wars and won. The insect can become a guru. Even a bangle can become your guru, Shuka says in Srimad Bhagavata. So how it becomes your guru and what is the process, all that is explained in the Ekadasha Skanda. Even that glowworm na solva, Vittil Puchin solva Tamil. So he goes on giving explanations. Sarpaha, Unanabhi, Supeshakrita. Never think that you cannot learn something from everything. There is not a single insect or a single jantu, single being in this world which does not teach us a lesson. These 24 are just samples. That is what Krishna tells Uddhava, finishes.
Beautiful. Akka, even in this brief interaction, you brought out the essence of Guru principle and Dattatreya tradition with so much clarity. I'm sure this will make an impression on many listeners. Now, coming to the next question, Akka, one of my favorite topics again on Sri Krishna. The verses from Sri Jayadeva's Ashtapati is a timeless work offered every day at Guruvayur temple. Seasoned artists include Ashtapati in the dance performances. Can you tell us more about Sri Jayadeva's Ashtapati?
Wonderful. I should not say just a piece of art. The Anugraham, it has got the blessings of Puri Jagannatha Swami. It seems Jagannatha Swami held the Gita Govindam on his head. So it is not just a piece of art, but it just came from inside, all his love for Krishna. And this Gita Govindam, not only in Guruvayur, all the temples, in fact, even in some temples in North India, they sing Gita Govindam for Suprabhat itself, for Suprabhatam and for evening Arati. So throughout India, Gita Govindam, though Jayadeva lived hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years back, still Gita Govindam has, today, if somebody wants to do Radha Kalyanam, they sing the 24 Ashtapatis. Even if they want to do Sita Kalyanam, they sing the same 24 Ashtapatis on Krishna and Radha, and then they do the Sita Kalyanam or Parvati Kalyanam, any Kalyanam. So how does a work become so priceless and timeless? It becomes timeless through the blessing of your Ishta Devata. If today we are singing Bhadrachala Ramadas Ulu's Kirtanas, it is because it has the stamp of Bhadrachala Ramar. So you just cannot become a composer because you want to.
Absolutely.
He should want to. He should want. In fact, you just cannot become a dancer or a musician or an artist also just out of your own wish. He should wish to. Everybody's life is directed by his will. And Jayadeva's life was also that. It was Bhakti Yoga right at the beginning. He didn't want to marry at all because he thought marriage will bring a full stop to his Bhakti Yoga. But quite contrary to his belief, only after his marriage to Padmavati, his Bhakti Yoga became Bhakti Rasa. It gained so much of rasikya, it gained so much of elegance and poise and beauty and aesthetics, that kind of supreme bliss. He used to just close his eyes and then do Archana, it seems. All the flowers will be on his Krishna and Radha. Padmavati, his wife, used to say, why are you doing Archana like this? If you keep filling all the flowers on Krishna and Radha, won't they get suffocated? So she kind of instilled that feeling of living with your God every second. So that Bhakti Poshana was done by his wife. So Jayadeva's life and his work, everything was pre-planned and designed by Puri Jagannatha Swami. That is why the Lalitya in his verses. Yad gopi vadanendu mantanamabhut kasturika patrakam. When you start the verses, you don't need to read the meaning or know and understand the meaning at all. The Lalitya in the verse, that kind of muddu and sogusu, in the Natha Hare Jagannatha Yaramita Vanamalina. You just
पश्यति दिशे दिशि रहसि भवन्तम् त्वदधर मधुर मधुनि पिबन्तम् त्वदधर मधुर मधुनि पिबन्तम् नाथ हरे जगन्नाथ हरे नाथ हरे जगन्नाथ हरे नाथ हरे जगन्नाथ हरे जगन्नाथ हरे जगन्नाथ हरे.
even you can just recite without singing. Still, it brings the same ananda and that kind of core heart. It touches the core of your heart, right? Chandana chachita nila kalabara pita vasana vanamali. So irrespective of whether it is South Indian artists or North Indian artists, everybody will be blown away by the words, the beauty, the tapas of Jayadeva, which is inside his compositions. Just 24 pieces, not 24,000 shlokas like Valmiki, not even 800 kirtanas like Tyagaraja Swami, not 1,000 kritis which are available of Purandaradasa, just 24. Imagine Jayadeva is a world famous personality just with 24 songs, because those are universal treasures.
It was really touching how Jayadeva, he transited from Bhakti Yoga to Bhakti Rasa. You explained it so beautifully, and how a dimension opened for him after he married Padmavati. It was already there, but how that the blossoming takes place, how the full-fledged blossoming can take place in a grand union. So this story of Jayadeva also tells us that when he designs it, it can bloom in a way most unexpected. So we have many beliefs as self, we have so many concepts or beliefs, but if Krishna, when he wills it, it can, so many dimensions can unfold in ways that we don't expect at all. I think that makes us marvel and wonder on the different infinite possibilities that divine can bring into our lives. Simply beautiful. You must have had many memorable and inspiring moments in your Harikatha discourses. Would you like to share one or two that may have universal perspective?
Memorable events always are the Harikathas that I have performed before my gurus. They are etched in your memory. They enter your subconscious mind, because that is the kind of dream or vision that any disciple can have. Doing something before your guru and your guru getting happy. So that is more than any award, more than any title, more than anything else that you can expect. It gives that kind of Janma Safalyam, fulfillment. So the very first Harikatha that I did before my Guru Shri Anna at R.R. Sabha Tyagaraja Swami Charitram, that Shri Anna sat through the whole Harikatha and cried and cried and cried. And after the Harikatha, he just hugged me and blessed me so much. Similarly, Lal Gudi sir, attending the Harikathas at Krishnagana Sabha, sitting in the first row, even when his health was really devastated, he would make it a point to come to the Harikatha, even on wheelchairs. Enna moda? And he would bless so much. He would, that all those memories You cannot delete them at all. You don't need to take photographs. You don't need to video record them to rewind and remind yourself of those memorable moments. Adela, those are the greatest blessings that a disciple can ever receive in one's life. So that those memorable moments, those are really memorable, but you wanted me to tell memorable moments of universal appeal. What does that mean? I really don't know to read between the lines. Universally also, I feel that the Guru's blessings is something which is beyond everything, beyond all awards and titles and all kind of accolades and admiration. And that is what a disciple should truly aspire and inspire for.
Yeah, very, very touching, Akka. I mean, that's all I can say.
It's so beautiful. Universal. Guru himself becomes the universe. So what more can we expect? So when memories are associated with the Guru, he is the universe. What else? When we have him in our lives, then we have everything. So I think you have summed it up beautifully. Those memories are to be etched in our hearts. They stay with us forever.
Correct.
And, it has to be treasured, and these are the moments that we can. It will never go away from us.
Relive them how many over times in your life.
That's absolute. So now I wanted to elicit your response on a kind of opposite topic, which is about more of Rajasic and Adharmic characters. Though adharmic in nature, Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Duryodhana are characters portrayed with a lot of intensity. The intensity with which it is portrayed is created through the japis, verses, and powerful visuals and makeup. In Kathakali, a different color is used to represent the Rajasic character. How is it in Harikatha? Is there a parallel? How is the rasa evoked in literature?
Good question. In Harikatha, we cannot use different makeups or different costumes, because the same person is going to become Yashoda, same person becomes Kamsa, same person becomes the Gopala Balakas, the Gopis. That is how Shuka teaches us. Sage Shuka becomes himself, suddenly he becomes Yashoda, suddenly he becomes Shishupala, suddenly he becomes Shanta Purusha. Krishna himself becomes one with Krishna. So what do we do in Harikathas? How do we portray the negative characters? Of course, through the use of ragas like Kedaragola, Sirra Ragangalna Kilya, Atana, Kedaragola, that kind of Veritanama, that Rajasic and Tamasic, as you said, those qualities, through those ragas, Harikatha, there are verses, of course, all those verses can be given life through using these ragas. And of course, when we perform the katha, we become one with that particular person or that particular character. So our emotions change according to what we are speaking, because we visualize it pratyaksham eva darshitam. We have to show the incident or the episode as if it is happening right now before us. So unless we visualize it, we cannot show that effect to the audience. So we turn into that character without the makeup, without the costume, without the external apparels. We turn into that character ourselves. So in a Harikatha, it's more difficult, because without all these external paraphernalia, you need to change just with your feelings.
Yeah, quite a challenging task, because you have to play the multiple roles. Because at least in dance, you can use different costumes, or you can use the appropriate makeup. But
you can at least make your eyeliner bigger.
Well said. Yeah. So very, very interesting. But in Harikatha, you are playing the multiple roles. So you have to evoke that bhava in the audience. And only when you live that, they will have that bhava also. That rasa aspect will come through.
Very
So
true.
beautiful, beautiful. Ahimsa, Paramo Dharma. Can you share your thoughts on this aspect and how Harikatha, dance, and art forms can serve as a medium to raise the collective consciousness and collaborate to create a world where all beings feel safe?
Wonderful question. So, ahimsa paramo dharmaha, very true. But rather than sharing my feelings, first I would like to share the feelings of my guru. Generally, Shri Anna would say, for each of us, dharma changes. Dharma, though we say it is universal, it changes according to the person, the family, the society, the nation, the place where we live, the people with whom we really move. So, for a military warrior who is standing at the boundary of our nation, for him, himsa is paramodam, dharmaha. Because where some terrorists are trying to enter the country, he cannot put down the weapons and say ahimsa paramo dharmaha, that is our country's policy. There, he has to stand with the guns and the weapons so that the whole country can follow the policy of ahimsa paramo dharmaha. Similarly, if the doctor takes the knife or the scissors for a surgery, it is not called himsa. All these might look like himsa, but to establish ahimsa, they use himsa. So unless the military warriors there, the soldiers stand with their weapons, we are not safe here. We cannot follow ahimsa. So where we really need to follow ahimsa, where we need to take on to our national defense, we need to be clear about that picture, because some years back, some kings got confused with this himsa and ahimsa. And kings who were supposed to take up himsa to establish ahimsa gave up himsa themselves and took to ahimsa. For a citizen, that is right. But for a protector, for a policeman, it is not wrong to use guns against a person who has killed, say, 30 to 40 people. If he is trying to shoot another person, the policeman cannot just say, ahimsa paramo dharmaha, and then stand and bow down to that particular killer, murderer. So we really need to know the dharma sukshma. That is where we need a true guru. So Sri Anna always emphasizes on that point, dharma and dharma sukshma. But for the general public, ahimsa paramo dharmaha, and to really build that collective consciousness, as you truly put it in your question, art forms are really helpful because it kind of tames down our emotions, all our rajasic and sattvic Indian art forms. That is why we don't use loud music, we don't use loud drums, we don't use those kind of tunes that actually kindle the base instincts and emotions. Rather, we use Indian art forms are very subtle art forms where they tame our mind, bring down all the kama, krodha, moha, lobha, mada, matsarya, all the pride, the anger, the lust, the ego, everything is lost, and you become just one with the art. And there, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole world becomes one, where you experience that sense of Advaita Bhava, you, the artist performing, the person in the audience, the art form, everything, the distinction is lost.
वन्दे वन्द्यं सदानन्दं वासुदेवं निरञ्जनम् इन्दिरापतिमाध्यादि वरवेश वरप्रदम् वन्दे वन्द्यं सदानन्दं वासुदेवं निरञ्जनम् वन्दे
And you finally become one with the Lord. So art forms help to really bring that kind of unity, that unity can very well be put. That is why Krishna, again, somehow today's topic is centering around Krishna. During his Venu Gana, when he was playing his flute, the tigers and the deer were playing together. How is that possible? Power of music, power of Krishna's music. In fact, if true music, you can really sing it that way, that enmity will be lost. Everybody will become friendly. You can bring unity through music. You can bring unity through Harikatha. You can bring, because it spreads messages of love and peace. Doesn't create that communal disharmony. Doesn't look at the distinction of caste or creed or religion even. It is universal. So through Harikatha, through music, through dance, you can bring in that sense of unity throughout the world.
Yeah, very, very, very delighted to know your subtle perceptions on this powerful subject, Akka. Very insightful, with a lot of depth. So coming to the last question. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma shuchaha. Can you tell us the profound meaning of the shloka?
So suddenly from dance, you go to Sharanagati. So that is the final. That should be the final question. Yes, Radha, you're right. That should be the final question. Because after Sharanagati, there is nothing. This is a shloka which emphasizes complete surrender. Sarva Dharman Parityajya. And during these pandemic times, that is what we really need to do. Nothing is in our hands. So you just Sarva Dharman Parityajya and go to Krishna and says, Tvamekam Sharanam. When he says, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Enna mattume, you come and surrender at my feet. I give up all kinds of feelings. So I'm not going to do any philosophical lecture for Sarvadharman. There are so many commentaries for what Sarvadharman Parityajya actually means. Doesn't mean giving up dharma and doing all adharmas. There's a lot of interpretations and vyakyanas and commentaries. But what we really need to know as laymen or laywomen, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. You let loose of everything. Don't get anxious about anything. Don't think of your past. Don't regret your past. Don't fear your future. Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Just fall at my feet, surrender at my feet. Aham tva sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami. I will release you from all your anxieties, all your worries. Ma shucha, don't worry. And that don't worry is that Abhaya Mudra. Aham tva sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma shucha. Don't worry. Only he has the right to say that. Even the best doctors in the world will tell, we have done whatever is possible by us. Rest God has to take care. So, who can really give that Abhaya Pradana? All of us can only give Bhaya. That Abhaya, he only can say, Mashucha, don't worry. I'm there for you. You just surrender at my feet. Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So I will take care of your family. I will take care of your health. I will take care of everything. I will take care of your children. I will take care of what you have to do, what you did. Everything, your past, present, future, everything is in my hands. So don't worry. Just relax and surrender. That's it.
These words will be such a solace to everybody who is watching it. Just when we hear Srimati Vishaka Hari expounding the meaning itself, we feel that, somebody is taking care of us. So I'm sure that everybody can resonate with this aspect, the surrender. Leave everything at my feet. I'm there to take care of you. Who else can tell that? He alone can give Abhaya. Everything else can give only Bhaya, fear.
Very true.
So you rightly said.
You catch the point very well, Satya. You summarize it very well. You catch it right.
Thank you. Because it's you feel something here. As you said, we're all mothers. We are playing different roles. We are playing a role in the external world, but we have a family. We have to do everything. So this fear does creep in, and during these pandemic times, everyone, it would, I will not be honest if I say I don't experience anything. We do feel that, but where can we leave all this? At his feet. So when we think of that, I think, we feel that he is taking care, he's protecting us. So nothing to worry. Yeah, I'm sure all the viewers also will have the same feeling that we have. So it's such a divine feeling to be together on this platform, discussing so many things. Radha, you want to add?
Yeah, very, very delightful, Akka, to have you here today with us. You know, some things are etched in my heart. One such beautiful memory is listening to Sri Anna's Saptaham in Chennai. And I've had the pleasure and joy of listening to it sitting next to you. So I'm so happy that you were able to remember that, you know, after so many years when I called you over the phone. And, we can't thank you enough for your readiness to participate and as a token of love and gratitude to all the great work that you're doing in the world in the field of music and Harikatha. Himalayan School of Traditional Dance would like to honor you with a certificate of honor. I'll just share my screen and read out the certificate. Himalayan School of Traditional Dance, the certificate of honor presented to Srimati Vishaka Hari in recognition of her many stellar achievements and unique creative contributions to the world of Harikatha, music and dance.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Akka, for being here today, and we thoroughly enjoyed, all your beautiful answers. It was such a pleasure having you here today with us.
Nice to see both of you engaged in such good things, satsangams, and this itself is a Himalayan effort. So from Himalayan School of Dance, may you prosper more and more through getting more and more peace and happiness. That is what everybody in today's world really require. All of us have everything, but what we all require is peace and love. So may that Almighty Lord bless us all with that peace and love and unity throughout the world. Radhe Krishna.
Thank you, Akka. Jai Radhe Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.